Starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up, stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
There's only one way to be independent. It's not something that someone gives to you. It's something that you take. Nobody can give you independence. Nobody can give you freedom. Nobody can give you equality or justice or anything. If you're a man, you take it. If you can't take it, you don't deserve it. Nobody can give it to you. I'm for anybody who's for freedom. I'm for anybody who's for justice. I'm for anybody who's for equality. I'm not for anybody who tells me to sit around and wait for mine.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Eric Dawson Radio Show. We're here live every day from 10 to 12, trying to bring you news and information to help you reshape and improve your current circumstances. Informing, engaging, and empowering. That's what we do. I'm on the phone with Vincent. Well, I have on the phone Vincent Squire from South Jersey. He's a candidate running for U.S. Senator. And I have the queen of the show, Diane L. Murray Clements. And we're all practicing social distancing. Oh, wait. Somebody just said to me, my microphone is not set up. See, that's why I keep saying I need an intern. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat what I said. I got Diane and I got Vincent on the phone. That's it.
Good morning.
Hey, Diane.
Good morning.
Did you see the shirt that did I send you a picture of the shirt that I designed that said socially distant?
No, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No.
Vincent, did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
All right, well, you know what? I'm gonna text it to you while we're talking, Diane and Vincent, because you guys can give me your thoughts about it. Anyway, I'm having this shirt printed, by the way, and I posted it somewhere, and literally.
I can't stand you, Eric. That's like my mother. I swear that my mother used to do that. Talk to the hand.
Did you see it, Diane?
That's funny. I like it though.
You like it?
It's cute.
Yeah, so that is my socially distant shirt, and it is for sale. I've already got like pre-orders of like 30 because a lot of people said that they want to be socially distant too. So,
Oh, I love it. Speaking of social distance, the campaign format has now changed because of the coronavirus. Now, a lot of people, of course, Eric, you would know, running for Congress, and I'm hoping that and praying that you do well with that. But a lot of people get their part of being admitted is getting your name on the ballot, which you are required to have a certain number of signatures.
correct.
And the deadline is the 30th. Now, since you don't have that signature, I've been fighting with the elections board, and they came out 2 days ago with a now PFD form. You scan it through, you put it through any of your signature platforms, and you distribute it out through social media to get your signatures. Now, listen, I know what I've spoken to a lot of your viewers, your enlightened folks, as I heard you call them. If anybody at the sound of my voice can think that I will do a great job for United States Senator, please go to Squire for Senate on Facebook. And they don't ask for a lot of information, just your email address, print your name, print your address, and hit send. It does an electronic signature, which does go onto the petition count. Without that, I don't think we will have a good chance of having a candidate that's willing to fight for you defeat the signature that the senator that we have at hand. If you look at what's going on right now, the Democrats in the House are now stepping up on this coronavirus bill. We're talking close to now $2 trillion. In which over a half of a trillion, not billion, trillion, is going to large businesses. And the president will not give details on who he's going to give a $500 billion to.
Right. So I just want you to know that I'm facing some of the same issues, Vincent. For the same reasons, right? Campaigns have shifted since we've been asked to what is it called? Lock down in place or whatever
stand in place.
Stand in place or whatever it is, right? Shelter in place. That's what it is. Shelter in place.
Whatever.
So we're being asked to shelter in place, and so and because of the underlying conditions that I have, my ability to go and knock on doors and go get these signatures has been severely hampered, and so I'm facing the same situation. I mean, I had to cancel my kickoff.
Yeah.
So, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out.
Well, what we're going to do is to get people to put them, stand up. Back us up here. You've been listening to us. You know that Eric and I are ready to get into this fight. You know that Eric and I are ready to make changes for New Jersey. We hear you. I hear the comments. I see the quotes on social media about how frustrated, how upset, and how disgusted you are with our political process. We're looking to get in there to make the changes. Back up what you've been saying. Sign these petitions.
Well,
get us in the office,
Vincent. But you may be a little more optimistic than I am in those statements. I don't know that they're ready for change. I don't know that folks are sick and tired enough. That they've, been screwed over enough to revolt. Everything that I see shows passivity. Everything that I see shows that the deep social conditioning that we talk about, that socially transmitted disease, is still very present. I'm watching everything that's going on, man, and folks they're like deer in headlights right now. So I still present myself as an alternative, but I am I'm a realist, and I don't. I think that what I've said for the last 4 years on this show still stands. That folks have been conditioned to settle for less, that they want more, only if somebody else is willing to fight for it. And so that conditioning and settling for less, and not working to survive but merely exist, is the status of the majority of the people. And so yes, I present myself as an alternative, and so do you. But the key performance indicators don't look good.
Well, the indicators have always, to me, been a lie. We look at a president who gets on the air and says that he's about to release this in about another 8 days, the social distancing and the restrictions on being in public. And all the medical people are saying in the next 2 weeks, we're about to hit a huge spike. Now, we are right now being held hostage, captive, by an enemy who didn't even fire a gun. Yet he has everybody locked down to the point where, people are running crazy, hoarding, taking all their money out of all these financial institutions.
Are you suggesting?
With all that stuff happening, you're going to tell me
confused,
that
Vincent.
these people are...
Vincent,
Hold on.
No, I'm confused. Are you suggesting that we shouldn't be locked down?
No. What I'm suggesting is this. All of this could have been prevented if we had proper leadership. That's what it all boils down to. If this is not a huge example
that's water,
of
literally,
failing.
that's right, but that's water under the bridge right now, right? So we can have we can have the conversation about woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's done now. The question is, How are we leading now? What are we doing now? And what's
And that's
happening
the-
right
that's-
now
that-
is that you have a government who is caught between a rock and a hard place. Part of what it is that they're looking at, right? The main part that the government is looking at is the election cycle. So let us be clear. And then everything, every decision, I hear noise in the background. I don't know what that is. But every decision, everything that they're looking to do is based on them measuring their electability. So if I make this decision, if I vote for this, if I do that, will I be reelected? So that's all self-serving, right? And it's all tempered by that. Then what they're looking at is the economy. At the bottom of this totem pole are the American people. We're not first and foremost in their thought processes at this time. And so I'm sitting here watching it. I'm watching the president talking about releasing people because he's concerned about the economy and he wants to lift this restrictive ban of us, being able to move around and he has always been downplaying this idea of social distancing and saying that we're going to get back to normal really soon. This is going to be over very, very soon, because he was looking at how the markets were responding to what was going on. And so now, and he's still doing that because things are going to be disastrous. But things are going to mainly be disastrous because there's no safety net, right? And there's no safety net because neither party gave a damn about providing it. Neither one did.
Well, Eric, you're right. But there's one crucial point. We had a safety net. He gutted the safety net to build a wall.
What was the safety net? Wait, no. What was the safety net?
Well, the safety net for what we're experiencing now was the influence of money to the CDC to be an advance attack on foreign diseases. That was the safety net now. That was the safety net that we had. He gutted that to build that wall.
Okay. No. So listen. So we can project and we can make some assumptions and say that we may have been able to had the CDC, had he not, in your words, gutted the CDC, that they may have been able to prevent this. Or we can say that it might not be as bad as it is now, but we would be dealing with some form of a pandemic, right? My thing is this, with what's going on right now, outside of the CDC,
What's going on right now outside of the CDC is this. The doctors that he fired, he now has to bring back in and try to get them to talk for him. Did you see the guy yesterday at the last conference? He didn't even show up.
Right, but wait.
Hold on.
No, I'm not going to hold on.
No.
No, but I'm not. But you and I are talking about two different things. What I'm talking about right now, so we can keep going back. But what I'm saying right now, whatever caused the calamity, we have a calamity, right? We have folks who are out of work. We have children who are out of school. We have small businesses that are going under right now. And there is no safety net. So we can talk about the safety net of the CDC, but I'm saying that my barber that I can't go to, who depends not only on me, but other clients in order to provide for himself and his family, there's no safety net for that. So if you want to go back to the CDC and have the conversation about, well, he gutted the CDC, and so that's why Farrakhan doesn't have a safety net. Or you want to talk about these small businesses that are, these restaurants that are closing, that, well, you want to harken back to what he did to the CDC and say they have no safety net. I'm saying they have no safety net now. And it was the Democrats and the Republicans. And for all of the people, Vincent, who don't have health coverage, no safety net. And it was the Democrats and the Republicans.
True, and that's the point. Well, that's the point. If this is not an example of the lack of leadership, the lack of caring about the American people, then there isn't any. And so it would be futile to vote these same people in that got us in this situation to remain in office. If you're not, I believe that a lot of Americans, a lot of your listeners, a lot of people are tired of this bullcrap. And the way to make it stop is to change the people that are there.
But this is where you and I disagree. I don't think that they're tired of it. We want them to be tired of it, Vincent, but they're not tired of it. You don't see any revolt. What revolt do you see? What tell me what you see and what you hear and what you feel that leads you to believe that people are tired.
Well, what I see are people who call in your show and talk about what's going on in their lives. What I see that shows me that people are tired is the story that you told about your barber, who is worried right now, how is he going to feed his family? What I see that shows me that people are tired are the simple facts that you and I get out here on a daily, bringing in information to enlighten people, to change their mindset and understand that the more they keep voting for the same people, the more things are going to stay the same. What I see that makes me believe that people are tired is the simple fact that I posted this and got 300. I posted my petition and got 300 signatures in just 2 hours. I believe right now that America is tired of this surreal life of lies, mistrust, confusion, and we want to get back to norm. Now, if that is true and what I believe, I'm gonna ask Eric Dawson to post on his Facebook page my petition, and I encourage you to do the same. Prove to me that I'm right, or prove to me that I'm wrong. Go online, go on his Facebook page, and sign these petitions today. Prove me right. I'm praying.
Call
that
go.
you're tired of this.
Call or go.
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing? Good morning, Diane. This is Farrakhan, and I gotta say, I've been listening to you guys, and I think right now, for me, I don't want to assess blame in this situation. I don't personally think that this was something that the government could have controlled. I don't believe the CDC would have protected us any better than the previous setup of the CDC would have protected us any better than the current one. Now, one thing Trump says that might make a little sense. This is an invisible enemy. Okay, this is not something you can catch. Other than to say, well, we clearly knew that there was this problem was happening in other parts of the world. But because we have open borders, it was coming this way regardless. Right? Let's be clear. Right? So I think it's, wrong to say, I'm not going to put the blame of this at Donald Trump. I would put the blame of this with the government in the fact that the government has been ill-prepared. And what we're learning, the problem with this pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, has been that our nation, which we think of as being so great, is never prepared for anything. Right? We're not prepared for hurricanes. We're not prepared for broken levees. We're not prepared for anything. Whenever something happens in this country, right, we are always 2-3 days behind that situation. And in this one, we're months behind. Right? We don't have enough ventilators. We don't have enough possible beds. There's all these contingencies that we never prepare for. Right? We have sat here in America and thought that a pandemic will never touch us. So we didn't prepare our hospitals for it. Problem is, the citizens have always thought that we would be. We always think that our government is on point. These things expose that our government isn't on point. Now, as far as citizens turning up and revolting about it and voting people out, the problem is this. When we live through this, and this is with the help of the media, when we do end up coming out the other end of it, right, and elections start to happen, right, they're going to say, remember who helped you to survive through it. So now they become our champion. Right? Donald Trump will probably win the election as long as this country doesn't go into a complete free fall and millions die over this disease. He will win the election as a champion of this situation because they will pitch it that his moves helped save millions of lives. It could have been so much worse, really worse. It could have been really, really, really bad. That's what he will say when he gets up there on the stage in front of the mic, right? He's going to repeat himself 1,000 times how bad it could have been. And no one will really be able to argue it, right? So he will be our champion. And that's what continually happens in America, right? We believe our government is there for us to protect us and will do a good job. Doesn't matter how they drop the ball. So, like, as I'm listening to you guys, like, I'm worried about a lot of things. I'm not quite worried about everything falling apart. As long as I live, I can rebuild anything. And Vincent, you know, because of the story I've heard of you explaining in your life, in your situation, man, I don't care if this whole damn thing falls apart. Farrakhan, I know how to move and get back to where he got to get back to.
But that's the whole...
That I'm good with. But where, you know, the thing is, and for me, it's because I listen to information. I understand that the only reason it will spike more is because we still need more testing. When we get to a certain point in testing, the spike drops. And that's the only time that curve is going to flatten. The curve will not flatten until you have tested a percentage of the population and anyone saying that they feel a certain way. And then the spike will, the curve will flatten right then immediately. Right? Because there's going to be a point in which you say, okay, you've tested so many people that it can't possibly go any higher. Right? So that's when the curve is going. I'm not worried about that. I don't listen to the fear-mongering that the news is putting out about that. I understand that the reason we keep getting twice as many is that I'm cool. I'm listening, Vincent.
Well, Farrakhan, listen, thanks. You know, I really do appreciate your input because when I talk to you, I do get a real assessment of representation of the mindset of our country. And there are a few things. First, we had, and Lori Thomas confirmed this, we had two in the last administration outbreaks. We had the N1 flu and we had Ebola. The N1 flu took us by storm. Now, America does prepare. That's why we have, America learns to grow in terms of readiness and preparedness. So that's why we have FEMA to take care of things like natural disasters. Hold on, Farrakhan. Let me finish. Now, we had two disease outbreaks during the last administration with the flu and the Ebola. That's what sparked the change in the CDC and the ramp up that gave them the power to go out into foreign countries and now combat it before it hits our soil. Now, you are right. There are some things that are just not preventable, but the ability to be prepared is what happened. What they did with the CDC is turn it into like an insurance policy, in which it's prepared in the event that it happens, and then it does A, B, C, and D. But so insurance, and the mindset of this is insurance is something that you pay for and hope you never need. Some people say, well, I never need it, so I won't buy it. And then the inevitable happens to them, and now they're wishing that they did. That's what we're facing. The whole thing is this, in terms of the mindset in the country, is that, you know, some people still don't believe, and Lori Thomas said how dangerous this virus is.
Oh, Victor, I had an hour-long debate or argument with one of my clients yesterday about this, okay, on the phone, right? He really was trying to argue with me that he wouldn't be able to get it from a haircut from me. And I was like, wait a minute, right now I'm listening to a man tell me that you get it through your mouth and your nose and maybe your ears. And I said, okay,
Well, where am I cutting? I'm a barber. I'm cutting around your mouth, around your nose, and around your ears. Around your ears, right? Right? So why do you think that if it gets exposed to me or the slippers, that somehow it can't get to you? And every ignorant possible response. That I'm like, you know what? I've been on the phone with you for an hour. I gotta go. Like, you know, people do not. Hey, Farrakhan, I'll give you another thing he didn't understand. Okay, the biggest spreader, the biggest holder of diseases is your hair. It's the hair. Exactly. He could touch his hair, and the virus would be on there, and then touch his face, and he has it. He's exposed. So, you know, that's the whole thing. So a lot of people don't understand how. And what I want to say about the Ebola and the H1N1, the origin of the disease or the initial areas in which we're affected in this world have a lot to do with why it spread in the manner it did. And by that I'm saying, by its origin being in China, and I'm not trying to be Trump and call it a Chinese disease and all that, but by its origin being in China, China is a closed nation, right? It is a nation that only allows people in when it wants, right? It controls them, right? Whereas in Africa, they're wide open. So we were able to go over into Africa and get involved in the issue, right? To get involved in the health, right? The whole world was able to do that. China doesn't allow that. So because China didn't allow it, they essentially let it get out of control. And then it went everywhere. Now what we should have done is, and the whole world should have done is, the second we heard China had an issue and China wasn't going to let us go in and help for the rest of the world, because everybody should just close their borders to China. Well, anybody here should have been coming from China. Now, here, and that's the whole point. China has closed borders. Okay? Now, if it broke out from China and hit the world, especially like Italy, who has open borders, and it went crazy. See, and that's the whole thing. When it went to that place where they were allowing and asking for help, you know, that's where we should have went in. Now, the second point is, what do we do now?
Right, that's what I said. I sat and listened to all of that. I'm saying that occurred, right? And I heard a conversation over the weekend where they were talking about water under the bridge. And I think to some extent it is water under the bridge. Not that we should forget it's there, because we need to learn from the lesson. But if we keep hearkening back to that and not working on where we are and how we resolve our current issues, and understanding that the gridlock right now in the House has everything to do with politics and nothing to do with people, right? So the bill that they're trying to pass, you've got the Democrats talking about what the Republicans, as they're making this sausage, are trying to add in and trying to keep out. And then you have the Republicans talking about what the Democrats are trying to add in and are trying to keep out. And what I'm saying to you guys is they are both lying to you right now. You're not getting honest information from either of them right now. And so, but we have now retreated to these two camps. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. Hell, I'm an American. And I'm a foundational Black American. See, but they've got you so wrapped up in picking a side that you've abandoned your own family and your own well-being. That's what I want to have the conversation about. Not about what took place, but what's currently taking place. And that's why, Vincent, I say to you that people are not sick and tired of being sick and tired yet. Because they still retreated to these different political camps. You see, they haven't realized yet that neither of those political camps give a damn about them.
There you go. But that was my original point, Eric, and they would. And when they survive, those two camps will take the credit. I promise you, come election time, the two of them both parties will be bipartisan on saying how we work together in the end with a joint bipartisan bill to help Americans. That way they can both claim. As That's what's going to happen. We're not going to get it because we get our information from those biased parties. And the other adding to that is we sit up here and keep getting into that eternal loop of the partisanism and the Stockholm syndrome of these people that we've been so enjoying them abusing us. And nobody, like Eric said, nobody is realizing that Democrats and Republicans right now in this bill are putting or are making motions that the large bulk of this should be going to the group of people who are going to be affected the most. The survey proved last night. In fact, I saw Governor Cuomo on CNN, and they were talking about how this affects people who are lower or to low middle class and below. These are the people who have a harder time and a bigger hill to fight to recover from this virus and the after effects. None of this bill goes to help that group. And that group is the one that they come up there every election time and smile in their church, but do nothing for them. It's time for people to be sick and tired of this bullcrap. It's time for people to want to change.
Listen. And I chuckle. I'm chuckling at this because at the end of the day, right, you had these two sides that were arguing about socialism, that were arguing about capitalism, that were arguing, please mute your phone, that were arguing about Marxism and all of these different things and how we didn't want to be like Venezuela and we didn't want to be like some of these other countries and now everybody is climbing over each other to participate in what is clearly democratic socialism. Everybody's now asking for help. Everybody. And so this is again where I'm saying, see, people are conditioned to settle for less, but they'll take more if somebody else is going to fight for it. So when you go to these people, the ones that you seem to have so much faith in, Vincent, and you say to them, well, okay, let's evaluate your situation now. Let's look at where you are, and I need you now to do some work, right? I need you to evaluate the landscape of candidates who are running. And I need you to make an assessment, one, how you got where you are, right? And two, what's going to get you out of it. They're not going to do that work. They're not going to do that work. Because they didn't do the work in the beginning, which is why they're in the condition they're in, right? They chased the money through campaign after campaign. They involve themselves in, celebrity chasing or clout chasing and all that kind of stuff, right? Photo ops with politicians. They did all of that. And then they chased the money to work on campaigns, to knock on doors. That was their come up during the campaign season. So they didn't do any of the hard work. And I beg to say that they're not going to do it now. That they're going to rely on somebody else to do it. And if they don't, then their circumstances are going to be the way they can. And then within whatever their circumstances are, they'll have whatever hustle they have to get a free turkey, to get a free whatever, to get a, right, just to, put a foot on their fellow man and try to be one rung higher on the ladder than them. But never aspire to be where they could be, Vincent, if they did the work. I'm looking at it, and it sounds grim, right? But I'm looking at it. But if you just close your eyes and open your ears, you don't hear any rioting. None. You don't hear anybody saying, "How the hell did I wind up here?" And then I go back to Martin, who in 1952 said, "We got a problem. How the hell are you in the wealthiest country in the world? You got 40 million poor people." He said that in 52. Who's screaming that now? All these years later, all these decades later, who's screaming it now?
Well, I know Farrakhan's screaming it now.
No. I'm saying, yes, we have individuals. And I'm grateful for Farrakhan and grateful for you and Diane and the rest of us who scream it here as part of the informed class. But I'm saying when we looked in Hong Kong and we saw those hundreds of thousands of people in the street, or when we saw in Puerto Rico where they poured into the streets and said, we've had enough. Who's doing that? Nobody. Nobody here. Nobody. I mean, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about masses of people. There are none. There are none. And then, wait a minute, and then I'll go further, and I'll say this. Ideologically, you can have some disagreements with, those people who were deemed part of a squad, right? Who were insurgents in the 2018 midterm election. But they all push back. They all literally push back against the entire establishment the entire time that they've been here, on both sides of the aisle. And they got ridiculed. They didn't get supported. Right? They got ridiculed. And so now, look at where we are. So I'm saying that, history, whether we ridiculed MLK, whether we ridiculed Malcolm, whether we go down a list of people, and then we can come to today.
Well, Eric, I'll just would like to say, I don't know, one, either ignoring the facts, right, of our condition, or two, we feel like we can't make a change. I think that the majority feel like, oh, this is the way it's always been. This is the way it's always going to be. We have that powerless feeling, right? And do not know that we can change this government or change how this government functions, right? We have one of the oldest running governments in this world, right? Most countries have flipped their form of government since ours has been since 1776. Most countries throughout the world have changed how their government operates, whether they had a monarchy, dictatorship, whatever it may be. The United States of America has stuck with the same system for 200 plus years, and it is no longer working as it is designed. And we don't know how to change it. Simple and plain. And I don't believe that necessarily voting is going to do it, because it would take a total influx of all new members.
It'll take a revolution.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the whole point.
It'll take a revolution. And that's why I said it got to be blown up. That's why, see, go back to what I was saying before, Farrakhan. So every single politician that is currently in office that is not pushing back, not against the other party, but the entire system. See, it's not enough for you to just be a Democrat and then blame the Republicans. You've got to be, if you're a Democrat, you got to be looking at the other Democrats and saying, yo, you all are part of the problem too. But as long as a Democrat is willing to cape for another Democrat when they know what's going on, then they are part of the problem too. Their silence is complicit. And so everything has to be blown up. Everything that's attached to it has to be blown up. And right before our eyes, we see what's happening. We see that they're clamoring to retain power, to grab power. And they're looking at the fear of American people. They're looking at us like we're a bunch of little children, because that's how they trained us to be.
So essentially you're saying we needed a civil war,
yes,
an actual revolution.
Absolutely. We need a revolution. And that's why I'm saying to Vincent, if you close your eyes and open your ears, you don't hear it. You don't hear it. Call or go.
Hey, good morning, Eric. Hope all is well, my brother.
You got two.
I got two. Mike, hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Will.
All right, listen, what do you guys think about Murphy, Attorney General, releasing low offenders into the community?
Ooh.
What do you guys think about that?
Who wants to take that one?
I think that's a horrible thing to do, due to the fact, this virus pandemic has caused chaos. Now it's going to cause more panic and have people out on the streets committing crimes. Police departments are overwhelmed right now with people being out or whatever the case may be. Manpower situations, and now Trump is talking about, I don't know if you guys heard yesterday, that he wants to open up the country again. Yeah.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that?
Right.
Well, I can tell you this right now. This morning, I tried to contact a few people that I knew from the prison systems. Now, here is one thing. You talk about a lockdown situation. That's what's happening in the prison.
Is this Vincent I'm talking to?
Yes, sir, it is. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. So, we talked about a lockdown situation. Now, this is a deadly virus. This is a very aggressive virus. This is a virus that's 10 times more contagious than the flu. And you have people in a prison situation, they're locked in, and there is no 6 feet of separation and distance. They're one on top of another.
We run them out here. We bring them out to the society. Then after the virus pandemic is over, we put them back where they were.
Correct.
Is that you understanding?
Here's the thing: there are no ventilations, medications, and test kits out of society. What do you think they have in the prisons? So basically, what you're doing for somebody who's got a misdemeanor, you just possibly sentence him to death. That's inhumane.
Right. Go ahead, Mike.
Now, hold on, pause.
No, wait a minute.
That's not inhumane, okay?
No, I want to hear from Mike.
That's not inhumane, but what I will say this. They're just trying to protect themselves from lawsuits. Because once the state or city or county... Exactly, I agree with Farrakhan. Okay, it is their responsibility for their health. So if I contract the disease inside of a prison, that is on the prison. I'm suing the prison. My family's suing the prison. Everybody's suing the prison. Because it is on the state or whatever municipality, county, whatever, to protect them. So that's the reason for releasing these people. They're trying to release what they believe to be healthy people back into the population so that they don't get sick in a place that they control so they won't be sued behind it. That's the only reason they're doing it.
Well, and that's the whole thing.
Taking off the virus. Because the best thing you could do if that was the case is, again, quarantine people. Now, if there's one thing you can do in a prison, is quarantine somebody.
Well, one thing that you can do, prison is not quarantine. Prison is basically locked up in a 4x6 cell.
So it's not quarantine because you're not blocking people from the air they get and stuff like that. But correct. Definitely, what are they calling it again? Shelter in place.
Right.
You're shelter in place, right? People that's locked up. Right?
So what do you guys think about
Eric? I wanted to.
Well, wait a minute. I want to hear Mike. I want to hear Mike weigh in if he has any.
Okay.
Well, first I want to say good morning, Mike Spruill, and then if you want to weigh in on the releasing of these prisoners' low-level offenses.
Oh well, they're all environmental. This is all environmental. This is not Republican, Democrat. This is because we don't have a large amount of our money go to environmentalism when it comes to government, but we're not approaching it. First, let me talk about releasing prisoners back into society is environmental. All of these problems are environmental. We go back to preparedness, like Vincent said. He said being prepared, but we have to use the proper term. Preparedness. The pandemic office was to prepare us for the event. So they had preparedness. They would have been in position, no, if this thing go global, you need so many ventilators, you need so many masks. Boom, boom, boom. It spread it. All right, let's put these out into the environment in these locations. So, but we don't have anybody from that perspective. You have capitalists who only know how to look at how much a ventilator is going to cost, how much a mask is going to cost, not in the event that we need to fight against a virus that the environment is continuing to get worse. And these things are becoming more common. These storms are becoming more drastic. We have to look at this thing from a mental perspective that all our problems that we are currently facing are environmental. And going forward, like Eric said, the preparedness, we need to concentrate on that. And if we don't do this, we are gonna go in the way of the dinosaur. I'm gonna say it slow. If we do not concentrate on our preparedness for these events as human beings, we will go in the way of the dinosaur. So now we can grapple over how much money gonna come to us, how much money gonna go to government. It ain't gonna matter if this thing spreads and gets worse. I don't care. Every corner of society will be grappling with this virus. So, I mean, we can grapple over the money. That's cool. But let's put it in its proper context. Now, we got a president, a carpetbagger, and look up the term, it'll describe him perfectly. This carpetbagger is putting our health and he putting the economy before our health and well-being, so he can profit. He's gonna take advantage of it. This carpetbagger is gonna put all our lives in jeopardy. Right. So now, when releasing prisoners back in the side, I'm not even gonna grapple over that.
So I'm
not even gonna waste my time. But go ahead, I'm listening.
We talked about testing every person first.
Let me.
I'm just curious. Like, I don't mind them taking. If they're going to release them, don't they have to test them to make sure that they're not positive?
Well, I'm going to read a little bit of what it says.
They are in a controlled environment. If they haven't been in society the last 3 months, they don't have it.
There are cases inside of these prisons. There are cases inside of these jails because you have people from the outside bringing it in.
All right.
So you have cases inside the jail.
All right. So I'm gonna read a little bit of the article that was printed in the New York Times. Headline: 1,000 inmates will be released from New Jersey jails to curb coronavirus risk. Right. It says New Jersey will release as many as 1,000 people from its jails in what it believes to be the nation's broadest effort to address the risks of the highly contagious coronavirus spreading among the incarcerated. New Jersey Chief Justice Stuart Rabner signed an order late Sunday authorizing the release of inmates serving certain types of sentences in county jails as the number of coronavirus cases in detention centers nationwide continues to mount. The order applies to inmates jailed for probation violations as well as to those convicted in municipal court or sentenced for low-level crimes in superior court. The release of inmates will begin on Tuesday.
And that, let me translate that. That's pretty much what they're going to release. Go ahead. Sure.
One question.
I got to get back on the road. I'm out of here.
Thank you, brother.
I'm going to sit back and listen. All right.
Thanks. Do they say in that article, Eric, that they're releasing them with ankle bracelets so they can continue to profit off of them, or they're releasing them out of the system altogether? Do they even address that?
So to read further, let's see. It says in New Jersey, slightly more than 1,000 people are expected to be eligible for release, according to Alexander Shalom, a lawyer for we're the only state now prosecutors who are concerned that individuals slated for release might pose a safety risk must file objections by Monday night. So there's a safeguard, right? So they're not just going to be released. There's objections that are going to be filed, so people are evaluating this. To date, there have been 3, please mute your phone, there have been 3 reported cases of coronavirus among detainees or correction officers within New Jersey's jails, which are run by county governments. There have been no cases. New Jersey order signed by the state's attorney general grows out of several emergency weekend hearings in response to a motion by the state public defender. It doesn't say, Diane.
You know, the other concern is, well, not a concern, but how do we move forward knowing what we know?
Well, so here's the information. Let me give you this information. So it says on Saturday, the number of confirmed coronavirus cases at Rikers, for instance, had jumped from 8 to 38. 21 detainees, 12 jail employees and 5 correctional health workers, according to the board. So let us be clear. We're not just talking about the inmates.
Employees too.
We're talking about the employees, and then those employees leaving and going home, right? And so understanding again that you can be asymptomatic for 6 days, according to all of the reports. So now you have a correctional officer who works, goes to work, is among detainees, and contracts it but doesn't know, goes home, now passes this on. So we can have the discussion about what to do with detainees. The question is, what do you do with us as a society? And so if the conversation now is, and I agree with you, Diane, that there has to be a way to monitor these people. There has to be a way to look at them. And I think that one of the safeguards is that you're going to have these prosecutors who are going to be filing complaints based on the level of offense, right?
Right.
And then they're gonna evaluate it. But I would say that, you know, if you're in there for a low level, like, so you got you got a parking
the
ticket.
admission scandal. So you got one person who's already been convicted for the college admission scandal, and he's being released. So that's somebody that can be released.
Right. You got somebody who got a traffic ticket, right?
Low level would be considered misdemeanors, low level disturbing of peace, or just hanging around, loitering, and white collar crime. Now, they're going to release them, but they're also going to monitor them.
Well, and that's what's important, because then the monitoring then flips back to another part where they're making money, where the prison system is making money off of them either being out or being in. The other thing, I was in another article in regards to this, that was put out by Fox News, they were talking about most prisons don't provide you with soap. You got to buy your own soap. So when I was saying before, what do we know now that we need to do differently because it's been handled poorly? And like you said previously, we are supposed to be the richest country out there, but we are so far behind, and we have the poorest people, and how we interact with people and handle situations are the worst.
Go ahead, Diane.
No, that's it.
Okay. So, you know,
I agree with you, Diane, and that's the whole thing. The richest and most powerful country sometimes has a great deal or a lot of social injustice towards the poor. And that's the whole point. And how do we change this? We one, acknowledge the simple fact of the problem, and two, address the problem and not the person. When you fix blame, one person is happy. But when you fix the problem, everybody's happy. One of the biggest things in fixing this problem is bringing into office, and he said what he said may very well be true. We have to remove 52% of our politicians who have the same mindset, who are willing to work for the people. It does not make sense that we would have insurance, yet gut it out because we said we don't need it. We need a wall better. It doesn't make sense to vote for a group of people with a mindset that says that now that we have this problem, the way to solve this problem is put $500 billion in the hands of billionaires. It does not make sense for us to continue on with that mindset. And that's the part that I'm sick and tired of, and I'm praying that everybody else is sick and tired of it and ready to make that change. We have to stop the partisan bickering and just look at the simple fact that it's not working for us. Make the change, people. That's what I'm saying to you. Make the change. We have to stop as a country sweeping dirt under the rug and thinking that it's gone. We have to make a fundamental change. If it takes us being being a revolutionary, to say that, you know what, I'm going to take my one vote, the greatest piece of American power that I have, and vote for somebody different, then that's making the change. If it takes the revolution of people saying to other people, you know what, that's bull crap, that person is not working for us, and you know it, then we have to make that change. I'm tired of the bickering. I'm tired of people telling me what they don't like and do nothing. What I'm saying to you is stop talking about it, get out there and do something. And the greatest thing that you can do right now is vote. Even sign petitions for people who are wanting to make the change is making something happen. No, go ahead. I'm done.
Well, in the feed, we'll have to, was talking about the elections and going back to what you were talking about earlier, Vincent, about the elections and now doing it online. I think that's actually a good thing, how they're going to verify information. I'm still concerned with that, to get signatures. But, just getting a signature to get on the ballot, I don't think it's that much of a big deal. But I think mail-in ballots should be what's happening. Will Hathaway was talking about canceling the elections or moving them to June, and I'm saying move all the elections to November because it'll be cost efficient. There'll be a larger turnout, and people will definitely by November be prepared and ready on every level, local, state, federal level, to be able to vote people out. I think they'll be more informed there because of this coronavirus. They're going to pay attention even more than ever before.
Well, listen,
Diane, I gotta say amen to that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We have short-term memories. Very short.
Say that again, Eric?
We have short-term memories.
Yeah, we do. If the problem is solved, but if this problem continues into September, I don't think people are going to be that quick to forgive and forget this time.
Well, look, we're very selfish people, right? So it'll firstly be who's being affected, who's not being affected, right? So you'll have classes of people, and their disgust or disdain will be based on a level of impact they, as an individual, as a family unit, experience, right? But there won't be a collective. I don't think there is. I think that divide and conquer has been the way that this government has kept folks at bay, and I think that they're going to continue to do that. Listen, I just got this came through from, and I contacted. So you guys know, I've contacted all of the mayors in Essex County, and asked them if they would be interested in either coming on a show or having a representative from their office come and talk to us about what's going on in their particular city, how they're handling it, what message they want to send out. I've gotten a response, a text message from only one, and that was Tony Voss out of Irvington. And I think that maybe tomorrow, sometime this week, they'll do that. But he did send this, and he posted on his page too. He said, please, please, please stay home during the pandemic. Irvington, New Jersey, I want to give you a COVID-19 update. We received 15 new positive cases. Totals, Irvington 24, Essex County 343, New Jersey 2,844. Expect those numbers to continue to rise. And then he says more coronavirus testing means numbers of cases will rise. 3/24/20, 10 a.m. He posted that. And he did also indicate to me, I think it's on 16th Avenue. They have a drop and I think it's a drop and go or something like that. Food pantry there where they're preparing food. I talked to him a little bit about it yesterday, but I wanted again to have somebody who could come in and elaborate on it. But what I understand is for families who are in need, you can go there and they have prepared food. and there's no physical contact. You just come in. You come there. They just hand you a bag with, I guess, a styrofoam container of the prepared food, and you keep it moving. So families who are food insecure, that is available. My understanding is that it is for Irvington residents only. So come prepared to prove your residency. But then beyond that, there's food available for you. The hours I'm not sure of. I'll try to get that by the end of the show, and pass that along to you too. So that's the information I have coming out of Irvington. And like I said, we're willing to use this platform to share any like information that comes from Orange, Newark, East Orange, or any other surrounding Bloomfield, Belleville, other communities. Just want to pass that on. Any other news?
In New York City.
Oh, it's called Grab and Go. Somebody just sent it to me. I'm sorry.
Grab and Go.
So it's called Grab and Go. Let me finish this. Thank you, Diane. It's Monday through Friday. Breakfast is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Lunch is from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Dinner is from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. So they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It says to all residents of Irvington. This is provided.
Send it to me so I could post it, please.
I'm gonna send it to you right now, Diane. What else were you saying?
New York City is looking to hire their yellow taxi cab drivers to assist with deliveries, and they're going to be paying their drivers. So if you're listening from New York City and you're a cab driver, they're going to pay for you to assist $15 an hour, plus reimburse you for gas and tolls. And you just need to contact the Taxi Limousine Commission. So they're trying to put their people to work who have not been working to help with Uber Eats and Lyft and stuff like that. Because there are still, emergency workers, stuff like first responders that still have to get to work. So that's one thing. The other thing is, on another note, I watched last night on TV, and I don't know if you caught it on Netflix. They did a movie called Self-Made. It's an inspired movie of the life of Madam C.J. Walker. I stayed up until 1:30 last night watching all 4 episodes, and it was good. It really was good. Tiffany Haddish was in it. Her character is the same character she plays all the time. Very goofy, very, over Tiffany. C.J. Walker was played by, what was her name? Octavia Spencer. She was great as always. And one of her husbands, CJ Walker's husband, was played by Blair Underwood. Good Lord, he's so fine. That is a fine chocolate man. Yes, Lord.
I watched a little bit of it. Amina was watching it, and I happened to go upstairs and she had it on, and I enjoyed it, I guess.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. The other thing, I know we talked about it the other day, they had on The View, they had, what is the guy's name from, that was under Obama, that went to, was it Chicago as the mayor? Rahm Emanuel. Yes, Rahm Emanuel. Yes, he was on The View, and they were talking about the Democrats and the Republicans that have been caught dumping their stocks after having a private meeting, and how they should be, not only should it be investigated, but they should be removed from office immediately. And that they should institute their own investigation and be willing to have an investigation to prove their innocence. Because literally they sat in a meeting, took that personal information, and then went and used it for their personal gain. And then one particular...
you go look and see that, you say, okay, these people have dumped it. Now you can just look maybe 2-3 degrees of separation where family members of theirs also dump stock and so forth and so on. So there'll be a lot of insider trading stuff that I'm sure we'll find out, as well as lower level politicians. So you got the senators and you got folks in the House of Representatives, but I'm sure, there may be some friends of theirs who are mayors or governors, right, state senators, who also participated in this. And I think that, but this goes back to what I was saying to Farrakhan earlier. We have a group of elected people who don't care about us. They don't. And at every turn, they show it. And we have to finally, as a collective, say enough. And we have to kick them out. And until we're ready to do that, and what I'll say is this, you don't even hear the clamoring from the elected officials within those two parties. You notice the silence? Right? So you don't...
Hey, Eric.
Yes.
The real thing, like, we can talk about the criminality with the stock dumping and insider trading, but this goes back to what we've really been talking about this whole process, right? Which is that the government clearly knew. The meeting that they're talking about was held in January, and there was no preparedness. The only preparedness was for them to protect their wallet.
Right.
They didn't care, right? Democrat and Republican, neither cared to say, well, guess what? I got to go back to my district or my whatever I represent to begin to prepare my people. They only cared about their pocket. And I think that that's the greater thing that people aren't talking about. As we try to make it sound like Trump didn't do something when he dismantled the CDC, means nothing if 2 months ago your senator or your congressman also knew that a problem was coming.
Right.
We can't just blame it on the White House.
No. That's not, so, Farrakhan, this is the point that I continue to make. Right? So, for instance, because they're all locked and loaded, let us be clear. And even what's going on right now. So forget about how gross the dumping of the stock was. Look at what's happening right now. Where they're trying to fill, and pardon all my Muslims for saying it, but they're filling the sausages with all of this pork, right? In order to get stuff for themselves. Because that's all they're doing right now. And so the pain and suffering of American people, as we speak, you've got, on the Hill, you've got Democrats and Republicans arguing because they're all trying to look good to be reelected, and they're trying to further transfer wealth. That's what they're trying to do. Not about saving lives. So it wasn't about saving lives when they dumped the stock. It's not about saving lives as they seek to try to pass the legislation. It's all about them. And so, Vincent, I say again, it's all right now. It's all in front of everybody to see. But you know what I think is happening? It's like the Truman Show. If you ever saw the movie The Truman Show, right? It is just a big reality show, and everybody is caught up in it. Right? And so people text each other, ooh, did you see what happened? Ooh, did you hear what he said? They post memes, right? But these things are actually affecting their lives, but the psychosis is so deep that they're so caught up in the reality TV part of it that they're not paying attention to the fact that they're dying. Call or go.
Good morning, Erica. This is Will Hathaway again. I wanted to share some information with you. You were talking about different municipalities and what they're doing in the cities.
Yes, let us know what they're doing in the township of Orange.
I'm just going to give you an update, okay?
Appreciate it.
Right now, real quick, okay? What's going on in the city of Orange right now? You know, the governor has shut down, supposedly lockdown, okay? Our schools in Orange are doing distant, school learning from home. Okay, there's a grab and go stuff that's happening through our schools where kids and families can come by and get breakfast and lunch. Okay, the mayor of the city of Orange, Dwayne Warren. Okay, we do have a command center in Orange. It's called the Emergency Management Command Center. They're disseminating information through the command center, and the mayor, Dwayne Warren, has released this number where residents, people can call him. His contact information is 373-0025, and we also have a when I was on the show earlier, a reference to the low offenders release, going to be released victim notification number. If these low offenders, anybody had victims, they were offended, they're going to be disseminating information out throughout the community. Flyers and information, but there's a telephone number where they can be, where residents of Orange can release, contact. It's 973-666-0097, and we also have the City of Orange's hotline. You can reach, any resident can reach them at 973-280-1629.
Okay.
I will post that information. 260, I believe.
You gonna post that in the thread?
Yes, I'm gonna release that information out there to you guys in the thread. It's kind of quiet. The curfew has been, the statewide curfew that the governor has interacted. They've been enforcing it, trying to keep people off the street, keeping people safe. The mayor also has a robocall going around, doing a well-being check, a citywide robocall, just calling and leaving information, his phone number, where he can be reached at, during this time.
Thank
so
you.
I'll put all this information in the thread.
I appreciate it, Will.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
you too. Is there any more news that we have? Diane, what's going on in Hillside?
I don't know. The mayor is missing. I'm going to put out an APB for. That's my response, because we have not had one robocall at all. I've talked to many people on many blocks. It hasn't happened. We've had one case reported from the health department a couple of days ago. That was a person, a female, 55 years old, and she's actually in the Teaneck Hospital. What else?
Wait. So forget about the mayor. You got council there too, and you're saying that
no response from anybody. I spoke to one council person. They stated there was a conference call. They just decided yesterday that they were canceling the council meeting that was supposed to happen today. They just decided that yesterday. They did a conference call, and nothing came out of the conference call as to how to move forward, what's going on, communication, anything like that at all. So that's what's happening in Hillside.
That's crazy.
Yep, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, the council, and I'll say the mayor and the council and the administration are all missing in action.
But, again, we have to look at who to blame, right? So, yep, they're in office, but they're a group of people who elected them. And I go back and say to you again, Vincent, I think that, when this is all said and done, I don't think there's going to be an upheaval of the government. I really believe that probably 95% of the people who are incumbents will win their reelection bids.
Okay, well, listen, it's, 11:20, we've got some time left on your show. Here's a challenge. I want people to prove Eric wrong. That we have people who are listening to this show that are willing to stand up to make a change. I'm going to send Eric a link for my petition. If I get one signer, Eric, would that prove that people are ready? How many do you need?
How many signatures do I need?
By the end of your show.
Jeez. You know what? Give me 10. Like, I'm set the bar that low. 10.
10. Okay.
10, and I'll restate my thought. Listen, we were talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, the challenge is 10. All of you enlightened listeners, the challenge is 10. If you want some change, if you believe that what I'm saying is true, and my commitment to you is very forefront forthright. I'm going to text Eric a link. I'm going to email Eric a link. Eric will post it up. Let him know when it's posted up. And let's see if we can get 10 by the end of the show.
So I want to go back to this. We were talking about this. So let's see if we get to 10.
Hold on. What's your email address?
Oh, ericiscreative@gmail.com.
Okay.
Here we go. So this is out of CNN Politics. It says, analysis. Trump predicts this is going to be bad, but vows to reopen America anyway. It says, quote from Trump, our country was not built to be shut down, the president warned on Monday. We are going to be opening up our country for business because our country was meant to be open. We are going to get it all going again very soon, he said, without setting a timeline, though he previously called for rethinking the White House's guidance on social distancing next week. Now, here's the interesting thing. Have you guys heard at all any remorse from Donald Trump when it comes to all of the fallen? Because he considers this a war. He said, we are at war. We are at war with an invisible enemy. Have you seen him come close to shedding a tear for those?
Hold on, Eric, come on, man.
Wait.
That's not the job of a president.
But I'm asking an honest question. I'm not being facetious here, Farrakhan. I'm saying that in the moment now, because he's painted this picture, this vivid picture that we're at war. And so we have, as we speak, we have mass units being set up in parking lots. We have Governor Cuomo retooling the Javits Center. We have ships docking because they have hospital units on. So all of this is happening and people are dying. Have you seen at all, when you see Donald Trump or any of those who line up with him, have you seen any connection at all that there is a real understanding of the true pain and suffering and death beyond the words? Beyond the words. See, because I can see that he sees and feels the pain and suffering of Wall Street. You can see that. You can see the agony in all of them as they're trying to figure this thing out. That they're trying to figure out how to save a dying economy. But do you see an equaling of that in terms of what Americans are feeling as they're going through this? It's not a rhetorical question. I'm not being facetious. But this is why I'm saying to you again, Vincent, because that's not evident, but there is no uprising. People are conditioned to settle for less, but they'll take more if somebody else is willing to fight for it.
Well, here is the nature of Donald Trump. He takes responsibility for nothing.
Well, he said that, didn't he? He said, I'm not taking responsibility for this.
He always has. That's the nature of Donald Trump. Now, I did send you that email. Let's post it and let's show people that the revolution is going to be televised. But we're talking about people dying right now, and he has played loose and fast with people's lives. We know that. Now, what are we going to do? We know that he's a gutless, heartless, all about me narcissist. And that's true too. What are we going to do? We know that our president has a huge concern about boosting the economy and his chances of being elected than he has about getting ventilators or doing the War Powers Act to get manufacturers to make the ventilators and masks that we need. What are we going to do? We know that right now that every word he says is a lie, and that he is fact-checked, in fact, right after he gets off the mic, by seasoned professionals and experts in the medical field. What are we going to do? We elected not a president of the United States. We elected a potty mouth, trash talking reality show host as our president of the United States. It's time now that we change the channel. And the petition, people, we need 10 to prove Eric so that Eric can change his tone and look more positive on the people of America and the people of New Jersey who want to make a change.
Listen, look, right now, and they posted this. Here's the headline coming out of, this comes out of NorthJersey.com. Headline, you can face jail time, $1,000 fine for breaking Murphy's stay-at-home order. Right? Says police will be cracking down on those who break Governor Phil Murphy's statewide stay-at-home order that bans public gatherings and closes non-essential businesses. Right? This is what the state attorney general said. Authorities will target businesses like bars or stores that stay open despite the governor's demand, the attorney general said during a news conference. They will also look for residents who, for instance, throw a party at their home and invite dozens of people. Law enforcement officers will have to break that party up, and there will be a criminal consequence, the attorney general said. The time for warnings is over, and the time to ensure compliance by using all of the tools available to us is here. Authorities may slap offenders with everything from a disorderly persons charge to an indictable offense. So now, we could be using law enforcement officers for other things, right? We have to use law enforcement officers to enforce.
But what other things, Eric?
I'm sorry?
What other things? What other things we should be using law enforcement officers for? If everybody's supposed to be in the house, there's not really much else for law enforcement officers to do.
Well, but that's
if everybody's in the house, whereas there's not going to really be too many traffic situations. There's not going to be, all those other things.
Well, but that's not true, right? You still have essential personnel that have to go from here to there. I'm not a law enforcement officer, but I would dare say that they're not, for the people who are complying with the shelter in place mandate by the governor. I don't think that the law enforcement officers are just sitting twiddling their thumbs. I do know, for instance, in Nutley, there have been a rash of break-ins. I don't know whether there's been an uptick in break-ins other places, but what I'm saying is this, that law still needs to be, lawlessness still needs to be dealt with. But what we don't need to deal with is foolishness, right? House parties.
No, but that's exactly what we need to do is to check it. That's a house party with, let's just say, 10 people in it, right? And those people will have to leave that house eventually, right? And go back out to the rest of the world to get to their home.
Right.
In that process,
I'm not
they are exposing other people.
I know. Well, I understand why they're doing it, Farrakhan, but I'm saying that to me, it is senseless, right? So this is foolishness. Right, so these are people much like the ones in Florida, right? And I had to send my nephew, who I know started watching the show, and he's in Miami, and I sent him the headline that came out of there after those foolish kids went and participated in the spring break thing, right? That 6 of the University of Tampa students tested positive for coronavirus after the spring break, so. It's foolishness. I mean, we're criminalizing foolish behavior. You understand what I'm saying?
Right now, foolish behavior is criminal.
No, I'm not.
Right now, to be foolish. I get what you're saying.
I'm not.
But my thing is, how do you stop it?
I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm not saying that we shouldn't stop it. I'm saying that
do you know how hard it is to actually legislate and enforce on stupid?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying the fact that we have to legislate stupid, we have to enforce laws on stupid. I'm saying we should be able to do something different. We should be able to focus these highly trained law enforcement officers on doing something else, right? But the fact that, we have such stupid people, much like the ones who in Newark posted the video, right, defying a couple days ago the police officers and saying that this was their block, right? But these are the same people who walk on the filthy block, don't clean it up, right? They walk past the garbage. In fact, they contribute to the filth by throwing garbage, but they were proud to say that was their block in defiance. Hello, caller, go.
Hey, I threw a hint before that you guys didn't catch on with politicians and the spots, and they didn't come back to prepare their constituents for the rising tide of this virus. The 10th Congressional District Congressman is on the preparedness committee. We need that. Can we reach out to him and have him on the show and explain why he didn't prepare us for what was coming in his own district? And you research it, he's on the preparedness, transportation, all this other stuff. But we do have a local, a congressman on the preparedness committee. Can we get him on the show? Have a good day.
Yeah. I don't think that you can get him on the show, but you can look forward to his next mailer coming to your mailbox in the next couple of days, saying that you should elect him because he's going to improve your quality of life. He's going to make things better for you. And again, the very fact, Vincent, that I have to have a discussion, even in these times, with people about him, is mind-boggling. That literally, as his ineptitude is beating them upside the head like a 2x4, they're still defending him. That's mind-boggling. But yes, he is on the preparedness.
As we discussed, brother, the Stockholm Syndrome is real.
It is real.
People tend to sympathize with their captives.
Somebody asked on a Facebook post, they said, what kind of America do we live in? And I responded, I said, we live in America where the powerful, right, remain powerful with their heels on our neck, and those who are powerless are defeated. Right? But 10 people responding to your plea could get me to maybe rethink that. But let's see if it happens. I say it's a sad day. I say
Here it comes. Here it comes. Hell freezing over. Eric is going to change his mindset about the great people of New Jersey. I feel a 10 coming on. Can I get an amen out there somewhere?
Well, yeah, I hope so. Anyway, is there any other news, Diane?
So I just sent out a message on Facebook to the councilman George Cook as to why the reverse 911 system, which is similar to other people's code red alerts, has not been used in Hillside. And he told me, it was used one time by the health department. And my response to him was, it was not used in the entire township. It was only sent to select people. So again, my question is, why has it not been used? And his response was, it hasn't been used since then because, as you know, we don't control the 911 system as the council. So my question is, why are you not pushing back to the mayor to have it used? So, incompetence. You have incompetence. That's all I can say about this side. You have incompetent people that are in leadership positions that should not be there because they can't dig themselves out of a hole. So there was an article I did post on my page. I don't know if you saw it. That the gentleman, and I can't remember what town he was in specifically, but he was using his what do you call it? The what you call it in the space. The I'm gonna tell you right now. It's coming up. I hate when this happens. It doesn't move as fast. Using his and I told my husband, see, this is the reason why I wanted one, and everybody said no. It's like going back to when I said I wanted the iRobot to clean the Roomba to clean the floor, and my family was like, "No, you don't need that. It's no good. It's gonna turn on." And da da da. Now everybody's fighting me to use it in the house because the thing is wonderful. But he was using his drone to walk his dog outside, so he solved the problem of not having to be, self-quarantining himself. He still did that. He kept a safe distance, and he attached his drone to the leash of his dog and sent him out there to walk the dog. It's cute. I don't know if my dog would be able to do that. My dog might drag that drone all over the place, but this seems like a really calm dog, so I think that's why it worked.
Well, we have one of those exercise machines, the walkers, the NordicTrack thing. When it rains, we attach the dog to that and turn it on.
What kind of dogs do you have? A little dog or a big dog?
Okay, we've got 3. I've got a boxer bull mix. She's a brindle. And I've got 2 Pomeranians.
Oh, you got little baby dogs. I like Cane.
And Diane's got a dog named
Corso. He come over there and eat them little dogs.
You know what? I wanted a cane corset, and I tried so hard. But when my wife saw how big those dogs get, she was like, "No, we are not."
Watch this. And see, when you get a dog like that, you gotta have like a. You gotta have a name that's appropriate. What's your dog's?
Footed, and you turn the lights out, you can't see him.
Done.
He's right there.
Done. Nightmares. See, that's what goes. Oh man, I know people who have big dogs and Thor and all kinds of whatever. I'd have some. I'd have some a name that's opposite, right? So. Folks would think maybe a little differently about the dog until they. Now, you know what? I couldn't have a vicious dog. Is your dog vicious, Diane?
He's protective, but no, he's not vicious. He's friendly to people once he gets around you and he learns you. But initially, no, he's very. So
if I came over to visit,
the guard dog. So
if I came to visit, would you have to put him up, or can you keep?
Yep, put him up initially. You'd have to be in the house before he could calm down. Yeah, initially, yeah. I mean, he's good with the mail. Even the mailman likes him. Because we had him from when he was small, when he was like 6 months. So the mailman was able to get acclimated to him, and he'd be outside, and he'd come and play with him and stuff. So our mailman is good. So yeah. So he knows you, he's good. But if he don't know you, he's very protective. Because literally, when I walk him, if people walk too close, he'll stand up on his hind legs. He's probably taller than me.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's definitely a protection. And look, if me and my husband get to yelling, he'll come stand right by in between me and him to protect me. To let him know, you better lower your voice.
So this just came from my message, just to give you guys, here are the latest numbers. This came in 9 minutes ago. Latest data on COVID-19 from Johns Hopkins. Global confirmed cases, 392,331. Total deaths, 17,156. Total recovered, 100,972. U.S. confirmed cases, 46,450. Total deaths, 593.
And that's across the country of the United States?
Yes, that's across the country.
Okay.
Okay, that's where we are right now. Somebody asked, I see this, and Diana, I even saw that you posted it, because Cuomo's been holding these daily press conferences. And
he's doing one right now. I'm watching him.
Yeah, I see him now. And he said that people posting up memes, Cuomo for president. It's not too late.
That's he's a leader, and he came from a family of leaders. His dad was the same way.
Everybody keeps saying that, Diane, but he's been the mayor of New York City for how long?
Governor.
Oh, the governor of New York City for how long now? 3 terms.
A long time, for a good reason.
3 terms. So, but I understand what you're saying. He's a leader all of a sudden. Okay? There's let's go look at his 12 or 10 or 12 years worth of mayor governorship.
Well, that's what I said, Farrakhan, about the fact that we have short memories. Right?
I keep hearing that, and I'm like, this man has been governor he's on his 3rd term. But nobody's really looking at what his history is. Right now, he's just, being a rock star. right? Well, no, and he's eating it up. No, right now he is showing true leadership. Now keep in mind that he was the only governor who has consistently went after the president with this legal thing, and the president is retaliating against him by stonewalling him on every effort to save lives in New York. He went on national TV and put that on front, put it on blast, what the president's doing and what's happening. He is showing a huge concern for the people, which our president of the United States doesn't seem to have.
Well, isn't that what you want, Farrakhan? You want, when a time of trouble happens, you want the person that you elected to step up and be a leader, not to fall back into the shadows. You want them to say, I got this. This is what we're going to do. Even if they don't have all the answers, you want them to be able to come out there and keep.
No, but I want to believe that it's being done genuinely. Like I look at the numbers in New York, right? And they're breaking down. I've seen the numbers break down as to, where the cases are, what borough has this case, what part of the state has this case and that case. And then I think back to, him instituting in that section of New Rochelle the first, not quarantine because they weren't using that term, but, where they section off that 1 square mile of town in New Rochelle because they had a couple of cases. But they didn't do that for the rest of the state. And apparently, that wasn't the worst section there's 20-something thousand cases, right? Or 40-something thousand cases, 25,000 cases in New York. So,
do you think maybe that was...
So you sectioned off these one section of Jewish community for what reason?
Well, let's
you didn't do that to Brooklyn. Brooklyn's got a couple of thousand cases. Bronx has a couple of thousand cases. But I
think
you didn't do it anywhere in those towns.
But do you think that maybe he looked at it as going back to, and we talked about this the other day, Eric, about in the Jewish community, for one, vaccinations, that they're not big on vaccinations, but two, they had a large epidemic at one time in Brooklyn with the measles. And maybe he saw something there in that particular community and he was trying to isolate it. Do you think that he was just doing it?
It didn't work, whatever.
Huh?
Right? Whatever it was, it didn't work. So since it didn't work, I want to know why he did it. Give me your justification for doing it to protect 1 square mile of New Rochelle when you have 25,000 cases so far in your state a week later.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me why you did that. See, we're not asking the questions. All it is, like I said, it's hustle. These politicians are hustling. Right now, he took off the shirt and tie, and now he's going to be sort of, common man, militant, right? And he's got a whole different look to him. It's all politics, like Eric always said. So I want to know what was the reason you did this, and now you're not doing it anywhere else in New York. Right now, with 25,000 cases, you haven't found any other places to isolate.
Well, you could be right, Farrakhan. Maybe there is rumbling in the back where he's going to say he's going to put his hat into the ring to run for president.
Right. So for me, it's all
you're
game.
right. Everybody does. They do it for a reason. They're not just doing it just because.
What did Rahm Emanuel say? What's his famous quote? Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
That's right.
There you go. Or don't let an incident change an opportunity for you to push your agenda.
Right. And so that's what we see happening now. This is a great crisis. And none of them want to let it go to waste. Some of them say...
no. And that's true. That is true. But what we also have to look at this in terms of leadership is like Diane said, nobody knows all the answers. And you want your leadership to stand up. Not the simple fact that, they're political grandstanding, but the simple fact that they are elected to lead. And he has shown that.
Stop. Well, wait a minute. See, we got to stop there because there's a false premise. They're not elected to lead. Let's think about the people who elect them and why they elect them. They elect them because of personality politics. They're not electing them to lead. And so now when they get in office, then all of a sudden we want them to lead. And you know who wants them to lead, Vincent? Usually the people who didn't vote for them. People who stayed home. People who didn't participate. What'd I say? Conditioned to settle for less but want more as long as somebody else does the work. So that's not why we elect. You name the last politician we elected to lead. Think about it.
Reagan, Carter.
No. We
Bush.
didn't elect him to lead. We elected him out of fear. We elected him because we liked him. We elected Clinton because he played a saxophone on
Arsenio Hall
show. Right. Come on. Let's talk about why we elected him.
Obama.
We elected Obama because he was black. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. We elected him because he was black, not because we.
No, we didn't. Really, white people elected him because he was black.
Yeah, because they wanted to be. No. Listen.
I voted for him not because he was black. I voted for him because he was smart and because he had his act together.
Listen. I'm not talking anecdotally. I'm talking statistically. People got caught up in history, right? They got caught up in history. The idea that in their lifetime they could have the first black president, they could be part of history. Right?
Or to see history in your generation.
Let me ask you a question, Vincent, right? Because if you say that they voted for him to lead, what was the agenda that the people put forward to him?
The agenda that the people put forward to him were the things that he accomplished, with the exception of one. Let's see. He revitalized the auto industry, which he promised to do, and he did. He did the economic stimulus package, which brought people out of the recession that we were slipping into, because we started at that time, we were in 7 years of the Gulf War. He had changed the actual our environment with his cash for clunkers, getting all those old cars that kicked out a whole lot of dangerous toxins. He increased the EPA and their regulations on corporations for pollution. He had ramped up the CDC to combat diseases in other countries before they came to ours. And he's been known to be the deporter-in-chief for illegal immigrants causing crimes in America. Now, not to mention the simple fact that he reduced unemployment and reduced the SBA's ability to loan to African American businesses. He increased the economic development. The stock market had went on record highs. Now, if that is not a man meeting an objective and making a whole lot of people feel like underachievers, I don't know what is.
Well, here's a couple more updates in New Jersey. Oakland, New Jersey is looking for volunteers to help their seniors to deliver food and groceries. Bernards Township, which has some common sense, is apparently having their committee meeting, and they're going to do it virtually so other people can tune in. The Jersey Shores have officially been closed.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yep.
So you talk. Look, I want you guys.
Because you love the beach.
Well, Diane, listen. If I got to be in my backyard and my neighbors just have to check me sunning, they just gonna have to, look at the.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're about to be a YouTube sensation. We're going to see a whole side of the Eric Dawson show.
It's going to be what it's going to be. I may go live. But anyway, so, no. But the idea, we haven't begun to see how this economy is going to come down. Right? So, think about all the jobs, the summer job. I mean, let's take the economy as it is now, but let's look as we roll into the summer months, right? Let's look at, let's just take Newark, for example. All of the youth who were typically given some sort of summer employment jobs, right? All that's gone, right? Let's look at all of the farmers markets and festivals and things at commerce that say, poof.
Well, farmers markets are going to continue.
How?
Because that's food. That's food. Food businesses are able to stay open.
But how are they going to? Well, but okay, so they gotta.
I don't know how.
They gotta try to figure that out with social distancing.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Everybody gotta come with gloves and mask on. That's the only thing I can say. But other than that,
well, speaking of social distancing, none of these pantry programs that they're doing right now are using social distancing. If you look at the pictures that I've seen, there's like some kind of food bank pantry thing going on. downtown Newark. I'm sure it's probably even the same thing in Irvington. People are standing right up on top of each other.
That's what we need to be discussing. If you're out there volunteering, you should have gloves on. You should have a face mask on. You should have a hat on. Because we've talked about, from your profession, Farrakhan, you said you can get it through your hair. It can sit on your hair or whatever is a virus. So you should have a hat, gloves, and a face mask on. If you don't have a face mask on, you should have a bandana around your face or a scarf around your face so that you're not directly interacting, exchanging air and breath with the person that you're working with. That's what we should be talking about. I mean, we know they're not doing it, but they're not doing it because what? Because the CDC is not saying that's something that you should be doing, that people are not paying attention to doing. They're just still going on saying 6 feet, 6 feet, but they're not saying all the extra stuff that need to go with that 6 feet. Because they talked about even when you bring bags into the house, you should be throwing out the bags and wiping down your counter. I was just reading on CDC, it says, well, you should be wiping down your counter with soap and water and then disinfecting it. Because it's the soap that helps remove the virus. But go ahead. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that's going to happen on the beach. Or not happen. Because think about it, not even that. Think about the Airbnbs.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Diane. The boardwalk.
Yeah.
Those small businesses, the rentals.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Well, you got to remember, if you go by what they're trying to say, or they're going to be saying come summertime, right, when it gets warm, is that this virus doesn't survive, right, once it hits 80 degrees or something to that effect. So summertime business will like shore areas and stuff like that, will probably get to its normal pace, or it might, I'm sure it'll be off somewhat, but it should be at its normal pace by then, because you figure if they're going to say, well, the virus isn't living anymore, so it's like essentially the people that got it, right, and we can sort of fight that and deal with that. But that's the other thing. Like right now, leadership is so poor with trying to get out all of the facts. And because, as I understand it, once the warmer temperatures hit, you can sort of that flattening that they always talk about. That's absolutely going to happen, because now you're not going to have as many cases. If that's true. Now, I don't know if the virus.
Well, I don't know about that because I don't know what's the temperature.
Because if Tom Hanks is getting it down in Australia, it's pretty damn hot down in Australia.
Yeah,
right?
What was the temperature in China where it started out in China? And then what's the temperature in Spain? When I left Spain, the temperature in Spain was warmer than it was here. So 65, it was 60 degrees. So 60 degrees there was warmer than 60 degrees here in New Jersey.
But they're saying 80 degrees.
But they shut down the whole country. Yeah.
All right.
Right. So they said that it won't live past 80 degrees.
Well,
right. So once you get to that level of temperature, the virus won't be spreading. Right. Once we're at a regular daily 80-degree temperature.
Well, if that's the fact, Farrakhan, everybody needs to pump up their heat in the house to 80 degrees, and we'd be good and be able to come outside.
That might be true. Right? That might actually be true. That could be logical. I don't know.
Look,
right? But that could actually be true. We might feel like, listen, turn your heat all the way up, everybody. Or we're going to burn it out of your houses. I don't know.
Well,
look, right?
I'm going to be socially distant.
And which actually really doesn't make sense, and I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect, but I'm going to look for it, because usually in a hospital, it's the cold temperature that keeps the germs from being distributed and stuff like that. That's why you always go into a cold surgery room.
No,
he's right. I'm looking at it. He's right. The virus does not like the heat.
Right. That's what they were saying, Diane. That
okay.
They were looking much like the flu. Right. The flu season is coincides with winter, and then as we get into summer, then you get into. But here's part of the challenge too. So, I've got a family member who was told to self-isolate for 14 days, works for government, because he was showing, he was sneezing and his nose was running, but he has allergies, right? And so we're in that space now where it could be a common cold, it could be the flu, it could be allergies, or it could be the coronavirus. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, I want to give this information one more time about the grab and go in Irvington. And thank you guys. We got 17 shares on this so far. But let's try to get more shares because I think this is very valuable, especially those families that are food insecure. So breakfast is over because breakfast was from 8 to 9, but make sure you get online and get there early tomorrow. The lunch is getting ready to start in 2 minutes, and lunch is going to be from 12 to 1 p.m. And then dinner is from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the location is 346 16th Avenue in Irvington at the INIC. It's the grab and go. Listen, we have to continue to share information. We have to be smart. I think that's really it, right, Diane? Like when we distill it down, just be smart. Can we do that? Or
you could buy a drone and have a drone pick up and drop off your stuff and walk your dog.
I'm in the wrong business. Let me go get a drone.
Telling you.
Hey, listen. Let me go get a drone. Anyway, guys, I apologize. I said I was gonna mention this, Diane. In the last minute. I apologize. My head was down. One of the things that one of my businesses got contracted to do was to help some of these municipalities and the state government acquire some of the much needed gloves, gowns, masks, and sanitizer they need. So I've been able to partner with a company overseas, or I partnered with a company here as a project manager, as a facilitator to help make sure some of these things get going. So I've been multitasking, but was able to secure at a nice price for some of the local municipalities thousands of bottles of tens of thousands of bottles of sanitizer and 5 million face mask order. So that's what I was doing. Apologize, but we all got to do our part in trying to slow down the spread and change the curve. Thank you all for tuning in. Vincent, tell me if we get those 10 people, because if we don't,
can y'all explain that one last time? I really couldn't hear when Vincent was saying it. What is it you want everybody to do, Vincent?
Okay, Eric's going to post. I sent an email to Eric with a link. I need roughly out of 1,000, I need 97 signatures. So the post is that I would get 10 from people listening to the show, or the challenge is that I would get 10 of the enlightened listeners from the Eric Dawson show to sign this petition. So please, I'm on a petition to be the United States Senator. I'm taking on the incumbent Senator, Cory Books. I'm looking to make some real positive changes. I'm looking to use your federal dollars and bring it back to improve our roads, increase programs for small businesses, and to basically bring a little more level playing field for the people of color and their financial abilities or the abilities to run their own companies. I'm looking to increase our schools and our school systems. I'm looking to reduce taxes, especially taxes to our senior citizens, as well as clean up the water in New Jersey.
All right, Vincent, ready?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Here we go. It's sent.
It's set. We'll see if we get 10
on my page.
Tune in tomorrow for this drama, and what we'll be doing is, after I get more than 10 signatures, we will, for lunch, serve Eric Dawson a nice piece of crow.
I said I'd rethink it. That's what I said. I said I'd rethink it. Okay, so right now, something just came across my thing, so I'm going to go check it out. There's a live blog, Fox News hosts virtual coronavirus town hall with President Donald Trump. I'm going to check it out, see what he's saying. If need be, we'll do a breaking news. If not, we'll unpack it tomorrow. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
God bless you.